Okay, so we begin here, we're posting. I'm looking to go around. He's got my leg entangled, so I'm going to pommel. Post, here come the legs up, and I'm going to redirect, driving and pushing, clearing him to the outside, pommeling once again, creating an angle, pommeling, driving his legs to me, misdirecting, clearing. Today, let's head into a concept. Passing the guard, we can have a dynamic, mobile guard passing scheme that we use when we're standing with a seated partner. And sometimes when people do this, they feel like they have to be focused only on movement without very much direction. And if I provide enough movement for my partner, then he'll either get overwhelmed or I'll be able to misdirect him, and then I'll be able to take advantage of the space that opened up. But whenever we're doing a dynamic movement-based passing, we want to be direct and on purpose with our movement and our motion. So that's the overall concept. And instead of drilling down into a specific technique or chain of techniques, because those things will change depending on what your partner does, we're going to look at it and we'll do a little bit of very light non-choreographed movement so that I can narrate a little bit, and then you'll be able to see, hopefully, if I'm able to do it, how this sort of passing works, okay? And it's built around, now that I said that we don't have a blueprint for it, I'll give you a blueprint. We have a couple of basic ways of managing our partner's legs, okay? We can pin our partner's legs, drive them down, pull them. We can push them as a reactive kind of response, or we can maneuver our legs and pommel around them. Okay, there are other categories, but for today, those would be the ones that we focus on. So let's look at a quick example. So your partner is going to be down, he'll be down butterfly, and he'll be, if he's seated, we have a set of, he's more stationary. So the more challenging position for when we want to work mobile and dynamic passes is when he's on his back in the supine position laying down. So from here, our hands are going to be like the things that direct our partner's leg. In general, we want to have contact with our partner in some way. I don't want to be naive and reach forward where he's going to take a hold of the wrist and start to pull me forward. Okay, so the arms will generally be back, but we will have a sense of contact with our partner, usually using versions of a V grip. Okay, it could be a post up on the knee. It could be a V grip down here by our partner's ankle. All right, and once we begin to move from here, we're looking at the position of our partner's legs. So if I take a step forward and he takes an inside hook from here, I'm usually looking to clear my leg to get to the outside. Now from here I have a choice. I can pull his legs towards me or I can push them away. And when I push them away, I'm looking to spin so that I can create an angle here and we want to begin to drop down into chest to chest or knee on belly or some measure of cross-side or north-south. Your partner knows this, so one possible response would be a high leg. Okay, that's a very common response. He'll bring his hips out, throw his leg over the top. Now from here, we have a little bit of a different issue, right? Because I can't pommel my legs. My legs are not the problem anymore. Now my arms are the problem, right? This is where we're entangled with our partner. So from here, if we try to push, we find that our partner's leg position, just rotate with me here, we find our partner's leg position here doesn't allow us to push because this leg is under our arm. But we can step back and pull and drive our partner's legs to the floor. From here, we can take a step and cut the corner. Now, maybe we move all the way around the corner. Your partner brings the legs up into kind of a north-south position here. Now we have another choice. If our legs are entangled, we may elect to pommel. If he's driving in and pushing hard, we may elect to pull. And once again, we have an angle where we can move. So when we put this concept, right, pommeling the legs, either double or single, pulling our partner's legs, or pushing our partner's legs. These three pieces help us to build a kind of matrix where we can move. The last component is footwork, which we won't dig into too deeply here, but the idea of footwork is that we can either move in a circular pattern here, we can go foot to foot in a kind of pendulum fashion, okay, which is not a shuffle, but rather a foot-to-foot movement, or we can focus on cross-stepping, where we take one leg, we cross it over the other, we use that to create the angle. Okay? So, go ahead and face me this way. Lie on your back. when I begin to start the passing sequence, see if you can see some of these things happening, okay? So we begin here, we're posting. I'm looking to go around. He's got my leg entangled, so I'm going to pommel. Post, here come the legs up, and I'm going to redirect, driving and pushing, clearing them to the outside, pommeling once again, creating an angle, pommeling, driving his legs to me, misdirecting, clearing, the legs come up again, clearing, stepping out, pommeling, driving and pinning, pushing, circling and changing, stepping back a little bit, coming forward once again, pommeling, clearing the grip, leg drag, pushing, legs come up north-south, clearing them, and so on. So there's a sense of direction that we're looking for. We're either pushing, we're pulling, or we are pommeling our legs so that we can continue to keep our partner moving. One of the best things about this type of passing is that our partner has to be constantly adjusting. So if I'm on the bottom here, anytime he drives my legs to one side, I have to adjust here. And then as he cuts this way, I have to adjust. So these movements from the top position, they're not big movements, right? They're not a huge long step pass. They're not a heavy pressure pass. They're smaller movements where we stay light on the feet, but they require a big change from the person on the bottom. He's got to post. He's got to shift his hips. He's got to redirect. And if he misses or if I make him over-rotate, he's got to come back in the other direction. This gets tiring for the person on the bottom, and you see this when you watch people who have a very high rate of speed standing in their passing. They don't have to have a lot of pressure because they have a sense of mobility and movement. So with this little kind of micro blueprint in mind, it's like a semi-system, and the concept of looking to keep your partner moving, posting and touching, pushing, pulling, and pommeling, and go back in and see if you can develop a sense of dynamic movement from a guard with a person on the bottom. And you'll notice in the drill that we did, he's not looking necessarily to enter into the legs, or he'll use grips. So like occasionally you'll come across where when we're down here, he may take a grip like this, which requires us to break the grip. Or he may take a grip here, like catching, yeah, exactly, this kind of grip here, where we need to strip it, and then we just go back on the move. He may catch my ankle here, which prevents me from moving. I may need to clear it. He may bring the legs up. Go ahead, north-south here, come around. Yep, and hold on to my legs here where I need to kind of move these, keep them dynamic, and then start going again. But you'll have a sense, even if your partner is gripping lightly, of where your movement should be and where your balance should be. And in this way, you can start to integrate it without feeling like anytime you're standing above somebody's open guard and their supine, you gotta pass their guard by playing extra quick or being frantic or being frenetic. You always want to have your movement directed so that your energy goes in the right place. Okay? So this is a little conceptual dive in. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, let us know down below, and we'll see you soon.